Hey, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Stock Hustle channel with your boy William. Today is Monday, January 10th, 2022. As always, nothing that is discussed on the channel is financial advice. It is simply financial education that I then hope everyone will use to understand you don't have to slave in 9 to 5s. You can easily hustle 24/7 in the market and still accomplish all those financial goals you have. As with anything else in life, you're always going to get out whatever you choose to put in. But let's go ahead and put in some work today for this video. So a couple of you have been asking me on Twitter, like, hey, how come you've slowed down on the production of content of videos and stuff? As I stated to a couple of you, I've been working on a new little system that I've been using, focusing solely on using unusual whales and all the data that it provides you to try to identify better plays quicker, faster, right? And so far, when you try a new system, you always have to kind of back test it, before you actually implement it, right? So I've been doing a little back testing, right? Trying to get it right, trying to get it at as good as possible, especially with the choppy market, as I've explained before. It's really hard to do DD videos on speculation when the speculation isn't so certain anymore, right? Again, as we are seeing that there has been a rotation in the market, you can clearly see that day to day. As you saw Monday, we had a very green day, and now today we had more of a red day, right? But one of the tools, part of the tools in Unusual Whales that I like is it actually breaks down where those rotations go to specifically to kind of pinpoint what you should kind of focus on, right? So starting from the Unusual Whales page, right? When you go to flow, there's just an important section you can go to see this specifically every single day, which is sector flow. When you go in sector flow, right, it's literally telling you what is decreasing and what is increasing, right? So just tuning your eye right away, you can see what stands out. Healthcare, right? You see a 30.74% increase compared to the day prior. How do I know that? The percentage value behind each number will indicate the change to the previous day. For instance, in finance, has it call volume column of 500,000 plus 10% at 1 p.m. That means that there have been 500,000 call options traded in the finance sector, which is 10% higher than the previous day, right? Simple calculation, simple math. So again, very simple visual. But from this, right away, we see in call volume what has increased. Healthcare, right? Looking specifically on the left-hand side, under call volumes to see the breakdowns today, I think the highest was utilities, basic materials, and healthcare. Yeah, those are the three, right? So this weekend I played a couple plays in the industrials, basic materials. I didn't really touch utilities. Last week I played XLE, that's energy sector. So I wanted to focus this time specifically just on healthcare, right? Well, if you click on this tab here, it says current flow. It'll take you to an actual flow page specifically just for the healthcare sector, right? Just here, right? Now here I have it filtered to my preferences, right? Which are quick swings, right? Like either a week, 2 week, 3 week swing, right? That's just based on my preferences. It's saved here in my watch list. But essentially it's $50,000 premium, calls, puts, bid, and ask is turned on, right? The only thing that I have preset is date to expiration 21 days because I want to see what's short term that's being focused on, right? We're seeing large amounts of money converting from volume into open interest, right, to signify to me that this is where money is going, right? Specifically, as you can see, nothing else is defaulted, right? Well, going through this list right away, one of the things that stood out to me was this Pfizer. 121.22 expiration, $55 call that was bought, $104,000, right? And then if you pay attention, the open interest that currently sitting on it is 48,900 contracts currently sitting, right, with another 1,900 contracts purchased, right? So automatically that's going to catch my eye. There was another one specifically, I think it was Pacific Bioscience, Pacific or PACB, this ticker here. I had a lot of very bullish trades as well. It was a sold put. I'm not sure if that was bought to open or sold to close. Because again, there was two trades that were very similar, which is why I didn't use that play in today's video. But yeah, this is essentially what I've been doing now with my systems, right? Going through, finding what the sector is that has the most amount of money, going into that sector, and then trying to pick out the most bullish plays on a short-term expiration for setting up for a quick swing, right? Whether it's a couple days or a week or two at max, right? I don't generally like to hold swings more than 2 weeks. Again, that's just my personal preference. you don't ever have to do anything that I do. Again, this is simply just to educate and to help as many people as I possibly can. If you find my system, useful, by all means, have at it. If you have questions, as always, you're more than welcome to ask, right? Again, I don't get anything from making these videos. This is strictly just a hobby for me, right? Number one, I like to teach. Number two, I really like investing. I find it very fun and entertaining, as nerdy as that may sound. And number three, I like to see people win. Good karma is like what I've driven on. Like, I try to raise my sons that way, to believe in good karma, right? Put enough good into the world, eventually she'll come back to you twofold, as they say, or as I was taught. But yeah, that's really the thing. So getting back to, sorry, I went on a little rant there. Getting back into the video specifically, when it came to Pfizer, right? Once I find a play that I like or identify specifically, I'll then go into our intraday analysis page on Unusual Whales, which gives you just a finite breakdown of that specific ticker, right? By giving you the biggest option trade specifically, right? It'll give you like what was the biggest put, what was the biggest call, right? Gives you all the bullish sentiment. On the left side, it'll give you the most active change, which is also very important because it's telling you right then and there, this is what is mostly focused on, or what most people are focusing on, right? And some people will be like, well, why is that important? Some people don't catch this right away. Some people do, right? The stock market is just like crowd psychology, right? The best traders that I've seen that perform in the stock market do so by having a good understanding what the market wants or what the market is going to do, and executing that before everybody else, right? Because if you do, you can get ahead on all kinds of types of plays if you can understand, engage kind of what the market is feeling, what the market is vibing, or where the market is going, right? So there's been Omicron scares, right? COVID scares lately in the past couple weeks since Thanksgiving. I guess the stories that came out this morning of New York having the highest cases ever, right? Or that potentially we might have been reaching a peak again, came up, right? So you can see why healthcare was the focus and why everything was really red. Now, in the middle of the day, excuse me, throat. In the middle of the day, we started to rotate up, right? You saw the SPY, the QQQ, AMD, Apple, right? You saw all of our favorite tickers that most people like to play or have played over the last 6 months rotate up after having a red day, which is a really good sign for tomorrow because it means tomorrow we will more likely have a green day. But it doesn't take away that the focus for today specifically was still healthcare. Now, me, personally, I don't know of another tool out there that breaks down sector flows. I mean, I think Finviz might, right? But not to this specific detail that Unusual Whales does for you guys. And again, that just goes to show you how much Unusual Whales really does care about retail and their success. But going to the most active change, obviously, right, you can see what is the most active, right? What automatically stands out to me, this February 18th, $60 call, right, has 39,000 in open interest on it, with another 6,000 contracts in volume today. Obviously, the 114 $57 expiration, right? You see 14,000 volume on 2,900 open interest. It'll be interesting to see how much of that actually sticks, or how much of that money actually stays in this play, making that extremely bullish. Again, we're sitting currently at 56.23, so that's not much of a separation, but it's interesting, right? You kind of see where the money is going, right? But going down, I don't know why my throat gets so dry every time I try to record, every single time. But you got the highest open interest increases, right? You have this bar chart that I find really, really helpful to me specifically, because it's just a better visual for the eye of where you can see money is going, right? For the January 21st, 2022, you see that the 60, the 65, and the 55 are all three of those strikes are in play. But she says the volume to concentration today was at that 60, right? So that would be essentially a $5, $4 and change upside. But again, when you're playing options, you don't need these huge stretches, right? Not every play that you play is going to be 1,000% banger, right? You can make 50, 60, 70, 80% gains and become more profitable in the end, because it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? At the end of it, right? So again, singles and doubles will win games just as much as home runs do. Just always keep that in the back of your mind, guys. I know everybody wants right, to hit a home run play, but sometimes the market doesn't want to give you that, right? And it's not about what you want or what you think, it's about what you read or understand from the market, right? What is the market telling us, right? So again, today, in my opinion, it's telling us we need to focus on healthcare, and that's why we are in this video. Again, you get the headlines or the latest news on Pfizer. You get some price target adjustments, right? This was really bullish, right? This one right here. It says Street Color, Pfizer plans human studies on Omicron-specific COVID vaccine to begin in late January. Obviously, with all the COVID fears that have been happening over the last month, that is a really, really bullish catalyst, especially if we get some really good news from these trials specifically, because of Omicron is being so more contagious than Delta, right? It's not as lethal, but more people get sick. I know here in the area where I live, you can't find a rapid COVID test. The drive-up lines to get tested for COVID are extremely backed up. You know, for personal experience, family members have waited hours just to drive through to get a test, right? Most pediatric offices, right, can test you rapidly, but again, for the most part, you see that fear in the market, right? You see more people rushing to get tested, right? You see that you can't find a rapid test in the store. Again, those are things you need to pay attention to if you are investing in the stock market, because it's giving you a sign, right? It's a way for you to understand better data when you go, for example, to a site like Unusual West to try to understand what's happening, right? Change with the highest open interest, automatically you see that the January 21st, 2022, $60 has 53,000 open interest on it with another 5,000 volume today. Again, very interested to see what tomorrow, how much of this will roll over and stick specifically. But the 60, the 65, the 55, these are all really, really, really bullish chains specifically when you break it down this way, right? As you've seen before in my previous video, I like to go down to this bar chart. Essentially, it's the same chart that you see in the flow page. It's just broken down specifically for you, right? But you see here, bullish premium by strike. The strike that stands out the most right away is the 49, the 57, and then you have the 60, but it's 60 standing out with put bullish premium, right? Specifically, right? You can switch this over to bearish, right? And then it tells you right again, the 56, the 57, and the 60 are the three that stand out the most, again, in the amounts of money that they stand out by, right? Then after this point, usually when I get confirmation of a trade or I'm confident in, I like to pull up the flow itself specifically for that ticker. Here, I do it by 25,000 premium. Again, everything is turned off. Puts, calls, bid ask, all turned on, right? And what I'm looking for are just to try to get the vibe of the day, right? Like, what were people playing today? What was the concentrated expiration? Well, obviously we can see clearly it wasn't the 14th. It's specifically looking at the 21st. So that kind of gives me another better idea of what strike or expiration, excuse me, I need to focus on. Going into the quick view, right beside it you see the pillboxes for put call ratio. Again, 0.0 or 0.3. Anything below 0.5 is considered bullish, but just be careful with it, right? Your boy Milt on Twitter has a thread specifically talking about this. I believe it's him, right? If I'm wrong, my bad. But it gives a breakdown to kind of understand what that pillbox isn't telling you or information is telling you. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. But anything 0.5 or below is confirmed bullish. Anything 0.5 or 0.7 or higher is considered bearish. Just something to always think about, right? Going into the quick view specifically, right? We have confirmation that these strikes are the ones that are the most bullish. The 57, the 60, the 56, the 60, and the 59. Again, the 7 biggest top trades for the day with 25,000 premium or more. You see that we do have a 49 call or 4 different $49 bot calls today specifically for various amounts: 345, 258, 32, and 32. And these were all bought sequentially, or the first 3 were bought sequentially within seconds of each other. So this is more than likely the same buyer for these 3, right? He's just trying to separate it in various trades. This other one was at 9:27, so about an hour and a half later. Potentially this is a different whale making this purchase, right? You have a bot put. This is for 2024. It's not in play. You have a sold put, again 2024. Again, that's more out. And then you have a 2023, again out. But the ones in play are the bot calls specifically for this year, January 21st expiration, right? Another place I like to go is to see the flow levels for the day specifically, right? Breaking down the amount of money and where it went just for today's specific day, right? Again, it's just giving you sentiment of what the market is thinking around a specific play when it comes to what they're buying and what they're selling, right? So as you can see, we trended at least 54% or better, or excuse me, 49% or better when it came to bullish premium. Specifically, the lower we went, the higher the bullish premium seems to have got. I think here at the 15,000 was the highest, yeah, 57.14%. It's always good to see, where the money is going for that specific day. When you go down a little further, right, premium by expiration dates, right? So it gives you the January 14th, the January 21st, and the January 28th. Usually I look at the first three. Again, as I said, I don't really like to swing more than 2 to 3 weeks out. If it's longer than that, I do so with caution, and then my requirements get a little bit more tricky, right? It's always good to have an entry and an exit plan for any trade you take in the market, right? Your failure to plan is your plan to fail. Always remember that as well. It's a really, really important lesson I've been taught, and I hope I get that message consistently out. I know sometimes I forget. I focus too much on the stupid camera versus actually the content that I'm speaking. Again, I'm not used to speaking on camera, so if my video content's been lagging, I apologize. I'm getting used to the stupid camera, but eventually I will get it figured out. But again, what the focus here is that I wanted to point out was that on that January 21st, as we saw above, where those 4 trades were, and then again in the intraday analysis page where it was pointing to us that is the focus, here we can kind of reaffirm that message, right? How? So on the January 21st, you see for call premium we have $4 million. For the put premium we have $388,000, right? When you slide over a little bit further, now it breaks it down not by put or call, right, but by bullish or bearish premium and which sector that money went into, right? We can clearly see we are more bullish this specific expiration week at 65.38% bullish premium, or otherwise $2.8 million sitting on the bullish side. On the bearish side, we only have 1.5 million, making it 34.62% bearish, right? That's like the ultimate confirmation for me specifically. Again, this is for me, how I interpret the data, right? But yeah, to me, this is a very bullish play specifically for this expiration. Even the subsequent week after, for January 28th, you're seeing 61.15% bullish premium compared to 38%. Again, that's 2 back-to-back, right, expirations of 60 plus, right? If we go look it down a little further, we have 1.1 million essentially sitting on the March 2022 with 71% bullish premium. That's a pretty good chunk of coin, right? What is this? 69% on June. That's under a million. January 2023. No, it's more bearish. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I think those specific expirations are above a million, right? But this January 21st is the biggest at 4 million. It's highlighted in green as well for your visual eye to catch it right away. And then down below you have some dark pool data, right? Again, I'm not a dark pool genius by any means. Far from it, to be honest. I'm still learning when it comes to dark pool. The only thing I know to identify is anything with 4 decimal points or more is essentially algo, right? It's algorithmic trading, right? Humans don't trade in fractions. We try to keep it as simple as possible. Computers can do long fractions, so anything with 4 decimal points or more is an algo trade. So when you see a lot of algo trades, it's telling you computers are trading it. So it's just fundamentals on the chart, right? When you sum up this video, right, and go into the chart specifically, you see that we are currently sitting in the middle of this channel from $50.77 to $61.57. Essentially, we are riding this EMA, which I believe this one is the middle one. Oh, we can do it this way. So this is the 34 to 50 EMA that is being written, or it's Ripster Cloud specifically, right? So we're sitting on it. You see that the wick is sticking on the bottom of the candle, right? Essentially forming a little hammer. Usually signifies an uptrend, but additionally the long wick on the bottom of the candle signifies lower price rejection, which means buyers are stepping in, rejecting lower prices, which is why you see that wick sticking out the bottom of the candle, right? Again, just little things that you pick up here and there to kind of understand what is going on in a company or in a stick or in a ticker you're interested in, right? Again, you see on the volume we have 2 back-to-back green days, right? You see that today's was higher than the yesterday's. Getting a confirmation, we would want to see an additional green day higher than what we had today, for example, right? That's kind of confirmation bias. You see that we are currently in a selling period on the MACD. However, we might come close to converging by either the end of this week or beginning of next week. As remember, January 21st is not this Friday, but subsequent Friday, right? So we still have some time for that to flip over, right? And that's essentially it for the company or the ticker, right? This is the information and the system that I'm using now for day trading or swing trading specifically in this market that's been very choppy. As you guys know, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You can always hit me up on Twitter or IG. If you found value in the video, please give me a like. Otherwise, guys, I will catch you in the next one.